I've really tried my best here at the Spector Creative channel to diversify and talk about lots of different subjects and lots of different brands when it comes to collecting and manufacturing toys. And I know that I tend to fall back on some of the same brands that I really particularly love, brands that I've worked on, brands that I personally collect. Those tend to be the ones I know more about. But I am a fan of pretty much all toys, and at one point or another, I have an experience with pretty much most brands out there. One brand that comes up a lot in the comment section about why I haven't touched it in any videos is wrestling, WWE, or WWF when I was a kid. Well, WWE is a absolute evergreen brand at retail. It has a very dedicated audience. It has a very slightly unique demographic audience that doesn't always overlap with other action figure brands, but it's consistently a hit at retail. In fact, it's usually the number 3 brand year on year. My introduction to wrestling was the animated Hulk Hogan Rock and Wrestling show that was on Saturday mornings. I totally dug this show, and it did get me into wrestling for a while, but I will absolutely be forthcoming. Wrestling, while it wasn't my biggest thing, it tended to always sort of be around my toy-making career. I worked for multiple companies that worked on WWE product, and I was actually even involved in a few WWE pitches and meetings at their corporate headquarters. So while I've never worked on the brand as a brand manager, when it's a major brand at multiple companies you work at, you're pretty much surrounded by it, and it tends to creep in as influences. Case in point, the Vicron figure from San Diego Comic-Con, who I talked about being ripped in half in a wrestling match because all I heard was the wrestling theme music over and over and over again coming from the desk next to me. I did get the chance over my career to meet quite a few superstars coming to different toy events, Toy Fair, Comic-Con, that type of thing. I tended to be the one organizing a lot of these events. I particularly remember meeting Hornswoggle backstage at a Mattel internal presentation. We always had a WWE Superstar come out for a lot of the major Mattel events and to help sell on the line. And a lot of the WWE Superstars are actually really big fans, not just of Mattel, but particularly of one of Mattel's brands, Masters of the Universe. What can I say? Big muscular characters, big muscular superstars. It sort of makes sense why they would work together. And, well, we're going to get into the toy line in a moment, but it was really interesting how a lot of times when the superstars would come to Mattel for an internal sales meeting, they'd be like, "Can we meet the Toy Guru? Like, he's the one who works on the Masters of the Universe line." I'd be like, "Wait a minute, hold on. The WWE superstars want to meet me? I thought I'd be the one who wanted to meet them." So yeah, it was definitely very amusing how much of fanboys a lot of the superstars are. They just want to see the new He-Man toys. It was awesome. Alright, so that was kind of my experience at Mattel. When I was at Jaxs working on WWE, which I did work on officially at Jaxs, unlike Mattel, I was just there one cube over. Well, they're headquartered in Stamford, Connecticut, where my Aunt Sharon is a teacher, so always nice to get to say hi to my aunt and uncle when I'm going to a WWE meeting. And inside their corporate office, I did get to see the giant life-size Andre the Giant statue, which also has a little, sort of a plaque in front of him that has his handprint. So you can put your hand on it and see how small your hand is compared to Andre the Giant. So I went with Jaxs to present a new plan to WWE to expand their SKUs beyond just figures and look at other play opportunities and other play patterns. So Jaxs pitched a lot of different role play items, different ways that you could sort of act out being a superstar. Those were foam objects. Even novelty items like flashlights. And quite a few of the items did make it to market, and Jaxs was able to get back in on the WWE license, even though Mattel was now doing the action figures. Jaxs used to do that, but that's a briefcase full of money under the table for another time. All right, so the other thing to talk about with WWE and Masters of the Universe is the crossover toy line. Not only is there a crossover as far as interest from both fans, collectors, but obviously the superstars themselves. And it makes sense why when WWE was approached with the concept of doing a crossover with the He-Man brand, I'm sure they were very excited because, as I said, they are fanboys. They love the brand. I'd never seen professionals coming to Mattel so much that just wanted to see the new He-Man toys. So I mean, outside of, fan sites, but actual, people who aren't attached to toy collecting professionally. So the WWE Masters, or Masters of the WWE Universe, even had a playset, the Grayskull Ring. It had tons of figures, and one of the coolest parts was that they were compatible with the MOTU Origins line. So the way the figures can be pulled apart at different joints, the armor comes off, you can remove hands, elbows, legs, knees, heads, etc. So you could make quite a lot of combinations, and this Masters of the WWE line provided a lot more armor and accessories to even expand Origins. Unfortunately, though, it came to a very early end. This Andre the Giant as Titus, or homage to Titus the Giant, was more or less the final figure and has now become very hard to find on the secondary market. So why did the Masters of WWE go away so quickly? Well, it's a limited audience. I did say that WWE was extremely popular, and it is, especially with Walmart. You've probably seen over the many years, WWE does a lot of promotions with Walmart, especially in the toy aisle, with exclusive product, additional space in and out of aisle. This is called a runway drop because it's in the middle of the aisle. So why does WWE work so well at Walmart? Well, it's the demographics. WWE has unique demographics compared to something like Avengers or Star Wars, even Transformers. And the specific demographics that enjoy WWE, which does skew Southern, it does skew with different, geographic areas of the country, and that tends to be where a lot of Walmarts are. So because of this, it's sort of a perfect match, and doing WWE exclusive lines just at Walmart makes sense from an economic and production and MOQ standpoint, which is why the Masters of WWE line launched just at Walmart. But even at its best, store, Walmart, best partner, retail partner, the line still underperformed. It had amazing things like Mr. T with giant Jitsu and Fisto gloves, but alas, the line still struggled to really be evergreen and break out from a Walmart-only customized program. The reason for this tends to not be specific to WWE or MOTU. Really, it's the fact that it's two brands. It's awesome that you can use the parts as cross-compatible with Origins when you're customizing, but the problem is when you have a line that combines two other brands, which is called a matchup or mix and match, well, now you're cutting the fan pie. So Ninja Turtle Star Trek, you've got to be a fan of both Ninja Turtles and Star Trek. Previously, you could have just been a fan of Turtles or just Star Trek to buy toys, but this specific one, you have to like both. Same with WWE and MOTU. Granted, a lot of WWE and MOTU fans do overlap, and it's a very common overlap. It makes sense, kind of like this Back to the Future Transformer, it's a car. So when I'm saying it splits the fan base, splits the pie, it just means you have fewer fans. It's the whole Venn diagram thing. If you have two different brands, you have to only deal with that area in the middle. The area labeled Venn diagram, that's green there, would be the overlap. And that's a smaller amount. And the more properties you add, the harder it is to find fans of all three. Yes, there's going to be some natural crossover when you're dealing with genres, fantasy, muscle warriors, whatever it is. And some brands, just the overlap just is almost no one at all. And doing a crossover item probably would not work because there's just not enough fans. It's a small audience and a small audience of a small audience. So that's pretty much why something like the WWE Masters line sort of filtered away, because collectors themselves are a drop in the bucket, and now you're dealing with a very small portion of already a drop in the bucket. So that tends to be why those kind of crossover lines, while they're really cool and they make a lot of sense, they tend to have a limited lifespan. So enjoy the fact that we did have it for a good year and a half, and Origins seems to be trucking along. Hopefully we'll continue it in 2022 just as strong. And hey, as long as we're getting cool toys, that's all that matters. And that's pretty much my experience working on WWE from the shadows. I don't know, did I miss something? Is there something else about WWE that I could do a video about? Let me know. I'd love to get your thoughts. My professional experience on it is limited, but I do have a lot of knowledge just about how, toys are bought and sold, and always happy to apply it to that brand. See you guys next time. Thanks for sharing.